Hi, Kyle. This movie's going to be just for the leaf because I also want to talk to you about this, whatever this is, this weird flower that looks like plastic. But anyway, looks like Jello and plastic together. But anyway, on the leaf here, I know I did the peppers in like two separate things, but watch how this leaf. It's going to be hard for me to explain this, but when I see lines that go like this on the veins, I am going to use a clipping mask eventually for the shape of the leaf. So I'll even do that in front of you. But I'm going to hit the M key and just make a regular rectangle. And I'm going to keep it in this orientation, but I'm making it bigger than I need. Okay? Now I've already colored it green as a basic color for the leaf. Okay? Now, watch how I actually make the mesh, this whole leaf out of one mesh, okay? And why am I doing this? Because each one of these lines is coming from a central area. And these all could be considered, it's going to be weird here, but these all can be considered vertical lines of your mesh. Watch this. And then let me know if I made sense at the end of this. But watch how I'm going to click one center line right here. Okay, and I'm going to move the center line down right to about the top, but not right on the top because I'm going to use a clipping mask eventually. Okay, now I'll actually pull this one over a little bit and that's fine. Now, watch how I zoom in and I take the gradient mesh tool and I click two really close on each side. Now, the one on the right is going to be for the next vein over. So let me grab it. So let me take this one and just slide it over for this vein. Let me take this one and slide it, let me grab it, slide it over for this vein, and then this one can be the center vein. And then I can take right there. Okay, now watch how I can maneuver these handlebars for this one right here. I just want this to go okay, there we go. I actually should have made the leaf bigger on this end because I actually overlapped it incorrectly. Okay, I should have made the bottom edge much bigger because my intention is to make all of these here. Let me move these 3 points a little closer to the center origin. Okay, see how that's going to be the actual white color, and then I'll click one on each side of it. Like I'll click here and here to have the green be on each side, and I know you know what I mean. So I'm going to go like this, and now look at how I can take this one. It's this handlebar right here. Let me grab it. Okay, and make this one go here, and now let's make this one go here. So really what I care about is, really what I care about here is getting relatively close to the placement of the center of those veins. Now, look at how these two veins, let me shorten this right here so I can keep that just like this, outside of the actual leaf. Okay, now, if I come close, okay, I was looking to see, Kyle, if I move this one farther to the right, which I need to do. Now look, if I click another one right there, that one can be for this one. And it can actually almost go off the screen. But look at how this one, eventually I can get that one to be perfect in there. See how I can get that one to be beautiful. Okay, now we need one more over here for this top one. So let's get real close and click one more right here. Now on that one, let's move this one out even past the leaf. Now why I said a clipping mask is because of what I just said. I actually want to keep this one rolling right off the leaf. Well, obviously, the leaf actually ends right there. You see where I'm pointing? So I don't care about the mesh being bigger to the right or to the left of this. Now, let me click this one and put this one, move this one a lot farther over because it's going to be clipped. And then I'll move this one over here. Now, I'm actually going to move this one up, Kyle, just to get it out of the way. Okay? Now I'm going to move this one up to here and then fix my handlebars. So this actually has to be moved up a little higher. This has to be cleaned up. Okay, I've now cleaned that up. And look at how cool it is that I have actually made this one the center of that leaf. Now, this one has a little tuck over, which we can do later. Whoops, I just moved everything. Now, let me zoom in here and make sure that this goes up high enough. This one, right here. Okay, all right. In a second, I'm going to come back and clip this one. Okay, now there is another variation to this one. You see this one that's underneath here? See this part of the leaf that's the little tuck over? Kyle, that's going to be a separate little mesh. Okay, so ignore that there's a little fold over right there. See the last vein that's right there? Well, let's get close and click this for the last vein. Now let's move this point up for the last vein. Now that means that this corner that I left here has to go way the heck up there. And then I'm going to have to just get it out of the way. I don't even care where it goes, but there it is. It's way up there. Now, let's move this one up a little higher, and you can see how I've allotted for all the spaces of the veins. Now, let me just redraw this until this one, I'm sorry, let me Z back. I've got to grab that handlebar right there, and that's my dog. So let me grab this handlebar right here, and now look, there they are. There are the veins for this, and they're pretty much in the right areas. Now, I'm not going to need many variations going this way, so I'm going to put one variation there right now. Now, you see how nicely that kind of went in, except for this one right over here on the right? Well, let's just fix that one. That means that this should go up a little higher, and now I've made that one even convenient to my mesh. You follow what I'm saying? So let me make this one a little higher. Now, how do I know how to do this? Well, I've made every mistake there is to make with meshes, and I've realized that that's just something that's going to happen. But how did I know to make this mesh? This way, because of the veins. And look at how I can distort the whole mesh. Now, I'm going to come back in a second with it clipped now. Okay, so Kyle, I've drawn the clipping mask for the mesh. You can see it, it says path right there. Now, I'm going to turn off the reference copy. Okay, now I'm going to turn on my mesh right there. So now, what happened to everything? Okay, Mr. Souriel. All right, so there's my mesh. I don't know why it didn't come up a second ago. That was a little error in Illustrator, Kyle. It's okay. And that was weird, but that's okay. That's just the way it goes. So I'm gonna get rid of all these windows that I don't need, obviously, and move the layer palette over. Now, here is the path for the mesh. Do you see it right there? Now, it has no fill, no stroke. So I'm gonna shift click on both of these circles, the mesh and the path. And I'm going to hit Command 7 or Control 7, which is to make a mesh. Now, if I go into the clipping group and lock up the clipping path, that means I can actually hide the clipping path. See how that can be hidden right there? And don't worry about these little weird edges. They're not really real, okay? They're just, when I magnify in and out, they actually show what they need to show. So let me now show the reference. So there is what we have to worry about. Any color beyond where I'm pointing on this edge of the leaf is going to be clipped because I made a clipping mask. So you can see now, there's your leaf clipped. If I leave the clipping path locked but turn the eyeball on and off, I can actually work with the mesh. So now if I click here, I can actually now, whoops, there's a little rollover right there. I didn't even see that. I did not even see that. There. Now I've clicked that and made it better. Let's now move this one, and let's now take this one. That one should have a handlebar coming from it. When something doesn't have a handlebar coming from it, Kyle, and I want it to have a handlebar coming from it, there are the handlebars for this one. It's really small. But I want two handlebars coming from it. So I take the P key, I hold Alt or Option, and I pull out of that, and I make another set of handlebars. Do you see how cool that was? Okay, but you got to be in the pen tool to do that. So let's go over here. In the pen tool, hold Alt or Option, and now make yourself the right handlebars. So I turned something that didn't have two handlebars into something that has two handlebars. Now, all I would have to do is add one more or two more stability lines like this. Okay, I don't even care how badly that is drawn in there because I really don't need them to be in a certain place. I can actually make another one down here. Now is when I can actually go into this. Let me get close to this. And let's take this one down. That one's for that one. Okay, I need to get close to this one right there. And that one should come down a little bit more, and that one should move over here a little bit more. Now, I'm only going to color one thing here. Okay, so I'm going to put a stopping line here and a stopping line here. Now I realize they're converging and getting very close to each other, but I don't care about these points over here. I care about these points over here. So if I take this and hit the eyedropper, I'm now clicking this one right there. I'm going to make that one a bit brighter, just so I can give you the idea of what we're doing. And I'm clicking this one right there. I'll go over here. I'll pull this one a little closer. This one is going to be the vein, the actual vein. So let me get close and shift this one back over. Yeah, right there. And now pick this one up. Okay, that one is for the light part of the vein. So there it is there. Just to help myself, I'll make it a little lighter. I'm going to click this one for the dark color and this one for the dark color. Now, Kyle, there are your veins. See how that's starting to work? See how that's absolutely stunningly beautiful? Now, let's click this one, and I'm going to click back on here to get that light color. Let's click over here and turn on the reference layer, and then click over here. Now I'm not going to click the edge color. I'm going to click right there. Now I'm going to have to figure out how to do the edge color of this. That may be a separate little mesh, but you can see how I have that just like this. Now let's turn on the clipping mask, and you can see how it's going to get clipped. See it? Isn't that beautiful? I actually should pull that one over a little bit because I can see that the vein actually dips a little bit to the left there. Now all I would have to do is pull these points over to the left. Let me pull them a little farther over. Let me lessen the handlebars, and you know what that does now, lessening the handlebars. Okay, and now these should be pulled over. I'll grab all three. That's a really good thing to show you. You see how I tried to grab all three and it disappeared? That means that I have to go into my clipping path and actually turn it off. Now it'll let me grab all three of those points and it won't disappear. That I had to learn the hard way. Okay, so let me grab this and move this one over. Let me grab this and move this one over. So now you can tell, Kyle, that these three need to have, well, there's not three there yet, but this needs to have actually, let me fix the handlebar here. Okay, right there and right there. Okay, let me just grab that handlebar right there. Now I take the mesh tool, I click right there, and I click right there, and now you know how I have the stopping lines for this one. I'm going to have to fix the stopping line over here, put it closer, take the handlebar and shorten it, and now you can see how I have in place the correct stopping points. So that is how I see doing the mesh. Okay? Now I'm going to send you back this file so you can kind of examine what I've done to it. And just while I have your attention, okay, let me save the file. While I have your attention, I'm going to go up to your flower. See, on this one, you see the nature of these little grid squares? Well, the grid squares kind of want to be used in a mesh direction. I'm not making sense here, but I'm going to click on the petal right there, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I would do this entire, I would have the leaf drawn out so I could clip it like I did the leaf. Got it? Okay. The mesh direction here needs to be, let me hit the R key. Okay. That mesh direction needs to come off horizontal and vertical. So I'm thinking that that mesh needs to be turned somewhat like this. Now, get a load of this. See the grid lines here, the little squares that are formed? They can all hit this edge. I won't even have to try to make this rectangle match the shape of the, I'm going to call this a petal or a leaf or a flower or whatever the hell it is. So I'm going to take this and start my meshing like this and like this. But now, can you see how I can actually form this for the grid lines going that way? Do you see how cool that is? And see how I'm pulling that over for that grid line? Now watch how I can take this grid line and locate it maybe for this top one right there. Now, let's actually curve this one. So watch how I can take this one, which really should come, Kyle, this one should come over here. And I'm not going, like, how did I know that the peppers needed to have different parts of the peppers be different meshes? Because, and here's the reason, because the colors inside went in different directions. These colors all pretty much form a grid. Can you see how this would be that red line here? Can you see how this would be the red line going this way? Now, we can actually do the lines going this way. So watch how I can click right there, click right here, and pull this one up. And now can you see how that can possibly be a grid line going in that direction for here? So now I've started to form, see that little, see the direction of that red that's right there? Now, isn't that kind of neat? Now look how I can go across the whole petal, because I'm going to have a clipping mask, and put this one way over here. And let me make this the geometry correct here, because I don't want to give you the wrong idea of what I'm doing here. Okay, now look at how I've shortened all those handlebars. See this one that's right there? That one wants to have the handlebars shortened. And this one wants to get way over here. And now can you see how I can actually use that one for this line? If I pull this even farther over, and pull this even farther over, and pull this even farther over, now I can actually start to form those. So with a lot of manipulation, I can start to form those. All right. See how this line here comes in? It needs to curve a little bit more over this way. So now this one needs to actually curve, and that one's going to come in like this, because I'm going to use this edge on the left for this one, and this one. So look how I would go like this. Look at how that forms this one. Look at how I would click about right here. That already forms this one. Look at how I would click there. That already forms this one. Now I can click right here, and you can see how by me manipulating these, yes, it's a pain in the butt to manipulate these sometimes, but can you see how I'm actually manipulating that to go around this? Look at how neat that's forming. Now I'll save it, and then you can continue on with this one. But I would do the left and the right hand side all in one mesh. Now I should have saved this mesh like you did. Right here, I would probably start to color it, and I would save it as mesh 1, just like you did. Okay, so yes, I should have already done that, but because I'm pretty good at this stuff, I only do a few now, okay, because I know when I'm getting in trouble. So let me know if any of this has helped you. I know you are approaching this a different way, but this is the nature of the beast. Again, it's the colors inside and the direction of the color, which was pretty consistent for this flower, which means I could make it out of one mesh. But I didn't want to form the actual outside of, and I'll call this a petal. I didn't want to form the outside of the petal with my gradient mesh. I wanted to clip it. So my next task would be to draw the outside and then put it over this mesh in the layer palette, and then click on both and hit Command 7 or Control 7 to clip it. So let me know if this made any sense. Okay, thanks.